What's up, Rooks? Welcome back to another episode of All the Castles, the show when we visit all the castles within the UK. Today we are here at Branthwaite Hall. It's sort of at the end of this actually pretty lovely scenic road here. What actually looks like quite an impressive castle. So, I'm not sure how much we're actually going to be able to film in this one. It is actually used. It's not owned by a private residence, but it's owned by the National Coal Board something. So you'll see what we can give you.
Okay, this dates from the middle of the 15th century, and it was built by a well-known local family called the Skeltons. It's made of rubble stone, and it's got a parapet, well preserved, you can see that, and there's a spiral stair turret to it, and there's a hall that was built adjacent, but the hall itself has been largely remodelled from about 1670. The Skeltons left here in 1797. And eventually it was purchased in the mid-80s, funnily enough, by the National Coal Board, who converted it into offices. So that's the useful now. So you can see the Suncore bells projecting. Not sure how original the windows are, but the doorway looks pretty medievalish.
It's got to be a lovely place to come to work.
Yeah, you would think so, wouldn't you? Yeah, you can still tell that the hall itself is pretty old despite the remodelling, and it's in a lovely spot. And yeah, we've got no access, no right to go in there. We've had this opportunity to see something so close up. Okay. Yeah, we almost passed it without noticing, but you can see there is an original narrow window. Well, there's two actually, except that one's got modern glass in, and possibly some others that have been filled in down this right hand side. So yeah, this is a very well preserved house actually. So full marks to the coal board for this one.
What's up, Rooks? Welcome back to another episode of All the Castles, the show where we visit all the castles within the UK. Today we are here at Burneside Hall in the lovely village of Burneside, just outside of Kendal. It's a really sort of pretty quiet place out in the country, and we're at a very nice castle. It's sort of a ruined pele tower that's connected to a currently working farm. It's connected to sort of like a big hall. It looks quite pretty, I'm pretty sure. And you can see all the vines up there that are really nice with these autumn colours, as we are currently filming right in the middle of November, so it's very nice. On to Mike's exposition.
Hello. As you can perhaps tell by the notice behind me, this might be as close as we can get to the farm, to the hall, unless we meet somebody kind. But there are a number of different vantage points and the zoom function, so we should be able to give you enough different views to make things worthwhile. And I believe in the summer you can actually camp out in these fields. Oh, careful. And just letting these people pass. Wish they'd have stopped and asked us what we were doing actually, then we could have asked their permission. But anyway, quick history. The first reference to the site being occupied is in 1290, when it was owned by a Gilbert Burnhead. Now, Gilbert Burnhead's daughter presumably didn't have any sons because she married a chap called Richard Bellingham, and Bellingham inherited the property. Now, the Bellinghams then lived here for about 200 years until they sold it to somebody in the mid-16th century, and from then on it passed through a number of different hands. But in 1461, Henry Bellingham fought for the Lancastrian side in the War of the Roses. Now, he escaped from the carnage at the Battle of Towton, but Edward IV didn't forget him and confiscated the property. Now, Edward IV gave Henry quite a few chances to become a loyal supporter, but each time he went back to the Lancastrians, and so it didn't come back to the Bellinghams until the reign of Henry VII. And as I say, about a century later they sold it on, and it passed through a number of different hands. I'll explain more about the actual building when we get a different view of it, okay? Right, from this angle, just a bit further along Hull Road, what you're looking at is the gatehouse, which was built a bit later. That gatehouse was built in the 15th century, and it's only got 2 stories, and apparently the original oak gates are just lying to the side of that arch. It's a pity we can't go in and have a look at them properly, but that building was just of 2 stories, and later they put a much more modern roof on it. Yeah, obviously the roof doesn't go back to the 16th, 15th century, and yeah, and you can see the southwest of the Peel Tower, they had an enormous window, which suggests that by that stage, when that was put in, they weren't quite as bothered about defence. But we'll progress on a bit further and give you a view of the western looking side.
Go on.
Right, we're looking at the western side of the tower, which obviously you can see that it's been patched up a bit, and that a fair proportion of the wall has fallen down. So this the duck pond in the front, I think that maybe that's the actual river, but I think the actual moat for the property was set a bit further back, and you can also see just to the right what remains of the curtain wall around the property. There's about 8 metres of it left, and that would have at one point enclosed the whole courtyard, or in the local lingo it was called a barmkin. Now I'll tell you a bit about the general history of the actual tower. It was built in 1341, and uniquely it actually consists of 2 towers, one of which is mainly gone now, and they were connected by a narrow passageway with a tunnel vaulted roof, and apparently that feature is quite unique. You know, it's not common to other Peel towers, and so yeah, the licence to crenellate came in 1451, and it was originally 3 stories high and had battlemented turrets on the top, all of which have gone now. There's no remains of that, but it does still stand to quite an impressive height, especially when you compare it to the more modern farm buildings, and you can see that it is standing on a natural defensive knoll, which I'm guessing is probably limestone in nature. We'll continue round. I'm not sure whether we'll get a good view from whereabouts that tractor is, but fingers crossed.
Can try our best. Boo.
Okay, so now you can see the north facing wall of the tower, though it's a bit obscured by the more modern farm buildings which abut it now. There used to be a great hall attached to it, but the modern farm has replaced that, and I'm guessing that little hut is where you go if you're camping here. Apparently, all there's one toilet and a tap. That's as far as the facilities go, as far as the campsite's concerned. But the most substantial part of the tower, going southwards, that was actually the buttery and pantry of the original hall. So that sort of survived more when the rest of the living quarters have crumbled away. But yeah, looks like there's some modern chimney pots being placed on it. I don't know what they would serve. The sources are not very clear on when it actually fell into ruin, but there's a 1692 print somewhere which shows it with all the battlements still intact. So if I can find that, I'll stick it into the video towards the end. Okay.
Okay.
Oh yeah, this is about as far as we can go before all these barns start blocking the view completely. I don't think there's any footpath or anything through the fields to that side that would enable us to look at the south wall, but what you can see from this point of view is the three windows indicating that it was once 3 stories. Yeah, can you see those?
Yeah, I can see them.
Okay, so yeah, I just wish we could get a bit nearer, but yeah, you've got to respect people's private property.
Well, if you enjoyed today's video, please leave a like and a subscribe and a nice comment. Please don't leave a bad one, because my feelings are sensitive and I'm prone to getting hurt.
I'll just nip in here because there's one thing we forgot to mention. There is a website called eVendoo who advertises that there's a museum at the property and even gives you a map for where the actual museum is in relation to the other buildings. It's totally fictitious. There isn't a museum here, and I don't know what was in somebody's mind, whether they're trying to do a wind up on the owners or what. But yeah, do not trust eVendoo. The museum, unfortunately, is a fiction.
Cheers for watching. Doodles.